Hi friends, welcome to the first episode of The Scoop. Elizabeth asked me here today to discuss the perfect spring container and what makes it a perfect spring container. My name is Samara and I'm a horticulturist here at Olbrich. We are standing in front of the Rose Garden Tower and we have one of our spring containers here, and everyone asks, how do I get started? Like, I just don't know how to put together the perfect spring container. How do I get started on my design? So I have a few tips for you. And the first tip that I always give everyone is start with one plant that you can't live without. So I'm looking through here and I know of two plants that I really couldn't live without, but I'm just gonna pick one, and it was this pansy. And this pansy has a lot of different colors in it, and I'm absolutely in love with it. It's antique mulberry shades. So there's the one plant that I can't live without. So then after I choose that one plant, I have to decide if I want to go, what sort of color theme do I want to go with? Do I want cool colors? Do I want warm colors? Do I want hot, vibrant colors? Here you can tell that I went with some hot, vibrant colors. So that's step number 2. I've got my one plant. I know I want to go with hot colors. Now I have to fill the container. And there's a few areas that we need to fill throughout the container. We've got this upper level layer. We have the mid layer, the fillers, and then a few spillers down the side. So we need to fill that. So going back to our first plant, we've got this pansy right here. And all the additional plants that are in your container, I always think they need more than one reason to be in the container. It just can't be your favorite. It has to have a reason to tie into the container. So if I start with this pansy and I'm looking at the center of it and it has this really, really nice orange, I'm gonna tie in a mid-layer plant, this calendula or pot marigold, that has a very similar orange color. So these guys are tied together. And then I'm gonna find something that will complement the yellow center of that pansy. And then we look over here, and this Linaria or toadflax has that really nice yellow and an upright color in it as well. So then I just keep working my way around and adding material to the design. This Linaria then has that yellow center that we talked about, and then I'm gonna add some foliage with that chartreuse in it to tie it together. So everything is like a puzzle. It's all tied together. So sometimes you might look at a container and it's unsettling and you're not sure why. It may be because the plant material is thrown in there because you liked each individual plant and they weren't connected through either texture or color or form. So that brings us to our next point, which is including foliage in your container design. Now you can see that there's a lot of foliage in this container. I have filled this upright space with a euphorbia. Again, another chartreuse color to tie in here. Again, that's just foliage. There are a little bit of color up here with pink that ties into that toadflax. There's mustard greens that tie in foliage, and there's some pak choi, some dark foliage, and even some purple cabbage. So a lot of people say that you'd want 1/4 to 1/3 of your container with foliage. I tend to do more than that, and I'm usually pretty close to half because it provides a really nice backdrop for seeing all those colorful flowers. Another area that you want to think of to fill the spaces is the height, the mid layer of flowers, and then some trailing plants. And you can see that we have a few trailing plants. We've got this carrot spilling over the side, and we have this purple carrot cabbage that will fill and spill over the side a little bit as well. Now you don't have to have the entire container lined with spilling over plant material because you want to also be able to realize that it is a container. All right, well, these are some of the tricks that I use when I design my containers. Maybe you picked something up, hopefully you did, and maybe you can come by and check out our spring collection of containers in the garden. Thank you for joining us.